innovation to me is old school and new school. That's why I just want to stay ahead of the game. You know what I mean?
Thank you for coming. It's great to have you in our studio.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, maybe this is like a funny place to jump in, but we don't actually need this studio for our work. You know, like this studio is like it's for fun mostly. You know, like we do a little bit of product development here, but it's mostly like we hang out here after work. We make music.
Right.
We plug that music into Suno. We bring it back out of Suno. It's a lot of fun.
So it's a lot of musicians as developers and stuff.
That's right. Yeah, most people here play an instrument. Everybody truly deeply loves music here. So it's a fun group of people.
That's fire. What are your thoughts on like certain people, like the humans, feeling kind of threatened that AI is kind of taking over? You know, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I understand that, especially in music. Like music and technology have a somewhat of a checkered or interesting past. But you know, you can't take the people out of music. You know, we like music and art because of the message and the person or people behind the music. Right. And so I don't think it replaces people at all. I do think it really changes how music gets made, potentially who makes music. You know, there's a future here to build where music gets better, where music gets more plentiful, where music evolves faster, where it outpaces culture and it makes culture evolve more quickly just because you can make more of it and more people have access to making it. And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, right. So how do you feel about people putting AI artists out? That's something that I don't really all the way agree with at all, because it comes from, I mean, we're human, you know, people, it's about the experience you give people as a human that makes people connect, you know what I mean? So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there is no music, there is no art without the person behind it. We like the way things sound, but we also like the message it sends, and we also like the person who's delivering that message. And I don't think you can really remove the person from the message. Right. That doesn't mean that the vehicle that delivers the message, that doesn't have to be the person who's making it. You know, like originally people thought it would be silly to watch somebody play a concert off of his laptop, except that, you know, now that's actually a huge thing, right? And so I feel quite strongly that it's impossible to really take the human out of this process if it's going to be art and if it's going to be music. And I think this is very different from other parts of AI where if you're just trying to go and get an AI to give you the right answer to the question, there's an objective right answer, there's a wrong answer, and the AI maybe can find the answer. And in music, there's no answer, right? It's
feeling.
Exactly. And different people have different feelings, and different people will use different vehicles to deliver those feelings.
Right. AI came from humans anyway, so that's, you know, so it's like bro, you're a bass player, and you own, you know what I mean? So it's like you can't get away from the real music part of why we do this, you know what I mean? But I think it should be a tool. Like if I was to bring this to our school, I would literally have producers use this just how we use Ableton or just how we use Fruity Loops. I feel like since you guys are at this level, you gotta be the ones to teach it so we can understand it. Because when we understand it, everybody uses it. I mean, it's producers that I know that's anti-AI, but now that they understand it, your perception changed. You know, so I wanted to talk to you just to make sure that, you know, if they see me on this and they see all these producers on this, that it's safe and it's a tool and it's something that humans could actually use and benefit from, and you know. Yeah,
you know, this is something I think about day and night, basically, right? This is like my job, and I think that it is more than just a tool to elevate your production, because it is a tool for songwriters, and it is a tool for artists, and it is a tool for people like me just exploring new musical ideas. And hobbyists, and it is a tool or even a toy for amateurs to elevate their musical experiences. What do you think? You know, like you're the one working with artists, you're working with Kendrick, you're working with Justin Timberlake. Like I'm much more interested in what you think.
Well, you know, my background is me being a real musician, you know, from being a musical director to writing songs, producing for artists. And I normally, even writing songs, I start with an instrument, you know what I mean? Like for instance, we had a session and I had 4 instrumentalists, guitar player, piano player, space, we had the whole band in the studio. We made a sample. We put the sample in Suno. Just how we would put it in Ableton, just how we would put it in Fruity Loops, any other DAW, to where it could take what we did and make it sound cooler and kind of, mess with the sound just so it can be something that no one's ever heard before. So we did that. Then I put it that same beat that I liked in Pro Tools. I sung my melody, A Human, and then from there we put it back in Suno, wrote the lyrics, A Human, and from there it was just a tool to make songs so fast. But I just want to make sure the element of like musicians are always in the forefront. If people really use it like a tool, I don't think it's a problem. You can't steal someone's copyright and put it in Suno, which I think you guys protect that too, right?
We do check everything that gets uploaded, yeah.
That's good to know.
Hearing you say that though, like, you can't have a what and a why without the person. Like, the artist, the creator has given you the what and the why.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
The AI is a tool to bring that to life, to let other people experience it. The artist knows what the what and the why is. A much better, brighter future of music can be built in partnership than kind of separately, or even worse, fighting.
Right.
And I think that maybe that's not true in other domains, but like music does not exist without the creators.
Right. I think the whole aspect of AI as a whole is scaring people because, not even just for music, like AI is, you're losing jobs. Like humans are actually losing jobs for this. So everybody's just afraid and no one knows what to do. Like, there's no curriculum on AI. There's no way to teach you how to do prompts. And I think if we kind of like step back and start teaching and people so they can actually understand what AI is, and it really comes from a human, and just figure out a way to protect the musicians, artists, and writers to where we're not getting a seat at the table. If we're creating songs, if we're making it with Suno, it's still ours. So how do we make that work,
Yeah, I think it's important for people to be able to take control over their music and to not have somebody able to, claim ownership over small bits and pieces of things that they really shouldn't be able to get, and to really simplify those things. That'll
make people feel way more protected if they could actually own their IP. Like you can own your IP now with Suno, right?
Right now, yeah. If you pay the $10 a month, everything that comes out of it, you own the songs that come out, the stems that you generate, everything.
So you can change it and make it you, and just like any other DAW.
You can do yeah, and and I think maybe in the same way, you mentioned Ableton doesn't own the IP that you put into it or that you take out of it. I think of us very much in the same way.
So Suno's not, is it being trained off of the artists, or how is it being like trained?
We take a lot of sound recordings from the open internet. The stuff that people upload, we don't train on.
Yeah, honestly, when we had our Suno camp, that was like, I was always sold, but that made me a believer. Like, to where this is really possible, and it's really this fast. And I just appreciate that you guys are even open to humans and open to the people that really use this, because this really could make or break us and really affect us in a great way or in a terrible way. So the fact that you guys are like open to hear our voice, because AI is happening if we like it or not. So we can't be dinosaurs. We got to stay ahead of it and make sure we got a seat at the table on the business end, and just have fun doing music, because it's supposed to be fun anyway.
I feel like I have a dream job. I get to, make music every day. I get to make tools that are used to push culture forward. I get to make tools that are used by the greatest. Right. So it's like, I feel very blessed.
Yeah.
Look, it's amazing to meet in person. Thank you so much for coming to hang with us in our studio to make music together, listen to music together, talk about pushing culture forward.
I'm grateful. I appreciate the time. To the whole Suno family, everybody's amazing, and I really believe that this is really possible, and it's do your human thing and create the song.